There's one thing governments don't like: the inability to know where your money is.
Yes.
Governments always want to know where your money is at because they have to tax you.
So people have been attacking me of recent. They go, I say Nigeria is 200 million people, and they go, we're not 200 million people. And the truth about it is that I'm now questioning the numbers again. Are we really 200 million plus?
I really can't say, but definitely bedroom productivity is high in Nigeria.
My best friend, his father was kidnapped on Lagos Ibadan Expressway, and he said for 3 days they were walking through the jungle between Lagos and Ogun State. They just kept moving, until about, I think, 20 million hours was paid. I don't like traveling. You tell me that I'm burying there's a party in Ogun State. I don't go. I'll tell you that I'm out of the country because I'm just, again, traumatized by some of these stories. Yeah. There was a day my wife decided to just send the kids out of the house, and she called a taxi, put the nanny, she lives in Abu Dhabi, my 3-year-old and my 16-month-old, and sent them to the mall. I'm saying to myself, can I do that in Lagos?
Lie.
Not even with your own driver.
Lie.
And your own car.
Is the AI bubble worth it?
We actually don't know how this ends up, how it plays out. Whether it's going to be some dystopian world with male dolls that are AI enabled doing all sorts of random things.
Hi guys, you're welcome to Drinks and Mics. I know you were expecting to see Ugo Dre. He's not here this week. I confirmed he's not in Miami. He is somewhere forming cabals. He will come back and tell you if he chooses to. But yeah, we're gonna have a great show this week. Packed house as usual. To my right, we have Otumba in the house. He is represented as usual. He's still angry about some things, but I'm sure we'll talk about it. Otumba, welcome to the show.
Good to be here, always.
So Arnold Dublin Green is right beside me also.
Full name. Full name.
So Arnold Dublin Green is in the house. He's also having some big moves happening. I don't know if he's going to want to tell everybody, but yeah, things are happening. He's things pushing out, pushing. All right, and on the show we have a guest as usual. And we have Akishe Akinola. My ancestors are turning their graves right now. Akinola Abi.
Yes.
Akinola. Yes.
You gave the Ondo.
Yeah.
Version
Akinola.
first.
What are the different versions for the uninitiated?
Please. What are the different versions? I redeemed myself to every person of the Yoruba extract that was listening to the show, was watching the show. Yes, Akinola. Yeah, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
We've been having backdoor conversations, some premium conversations, things that cannot be on Drinks and Mics, or else there will be trouble. But the guys are saying that we would probably create a premium version for members only, that you could just see some of those snippets of those conversations, really things that we cannot just put outside in public anyways. But Share, tell us about yourself. What do you do? Looks like you make a lot of money, and I do hear some things from the grapevine, but tell us about yourself.
Yeah, no, thank you. You're so kind. I've made a lot of money for a lot of people, but not myself. And yeah, I'm a CFO of Figbl, and there's a backstory, but Figbl is an inventory financing platform, and we started off our life as Fig Finance, which is still the parent company, and really the mission was to automate the sort of lending experience for small businesses. In Africa, and at this point we're global. And having spent too much time in banking and private credit and in private equity, we just got very frustrated with the length of time it took to underwrite credit and make a decision and actually get money in the hands of people who needed it. And you find out that, downstream SMEs need it the most and they get it the least.
Yeah.
And so we're trying to solve that gap. And, clearly the through line was technology.
Yes. Absolutely.
So how are you trying to solve that gap? I'm
Yeah,
curious
go ahead.
because
Sure.
I'm curious because private credit is something that or just lending or credits is something that I am extremely excited about for reasons that I guess over time will become obvious. But it's something that I've been looking into for a while. I know that our credit growth in Nigeria is just shrunk to like 3.1%, so 3% or so this year. I know that a tightening environment and an extremely strong depreciating, devaluing currency has made it quite hard for a lot of SMEs across different sectors. I know that it provides an opportunity as well for lots of lenders, potential lenders, private credit guys, as we know, our banks.
I have PTSD with Ugo J. I'm about to open this thing and something just reminded me that I shouldn't open it. Wow. Can you imagine? This is trauma. Wherever you are. Oh my gosh. Go ahead, sorry.
Yeah,
sorry.
Our banks that should be lending aren't.
Don't,
right? But then sometimes when you talk to people about going to private credit, the issue is always default, and especially when you talk about uncollateralized senior debt obligation.
Yeah.
Is it collateralized?
100%. It's uncollateralized.
Yeah,
it's a great point. And one of the things that we found out is that
I did my
SMEs are great. SMEs are great credits.
Yeah.
You find that the banks.
Are they?
Yes, the banks don't lend to SMEs because they don't think it's economic to do so, right? You can lend to Dangote. We always make that example because in 1 year, you've made your P&L, right? But to lend to the equivalent of Dangote in scale, in absolute numbers, is maybe 100,000 SMEs. How do you do that as a bank, right? You get, 10,000 credit officers. These guys don't have audited financials. You don't even know where they are, et cetera, et cetera. But at the same time, every single SME is transacting every day. And every transaction is credit, right? There's debit, there's credit. It's actually an act of track record. And if you're able to capture that data, and moving away from theory, what do payments companies do? This is a facilitate that. The payments companies have that data. What do e-commerce companies do? They provide order fulfillment for these same SMEs. So we partnered with the B2B platforms that support these merchants. And these B2B platforms, the Alerzos of the world, Trade Depots, Money Points, they have hundreds of thousands of merchants. And it is just connecting via API. So you're getting the transaction data. With BVMs, you can pull the bank history, right? So the credits, the debits. With e-commerce, with compliance platforms, you can get all the KYC data. Everything I've mentioned is digitally. So with 1 or 2 data points like BVNs and approval, you can get everything you need to be able to underwrite, right? To reach an underwriting decision. And then say, if you want to apply an abundance of caution because the banks think these guys are, high default risks and the probability of default is high, we'll only lend you a fraction of your average monthly turnover. So maybe it's like 30% of your average monthly turnover, which is maybe like 3% of your annual revenue, which is a pittance.
Yeah.
But when lending out for maybe 15 days, 30 days.
That was very short term.
Very short term.
Okay.
But then we go a step further because what do you need the money for? You need it to buy stock, right? So you can buy tomatoes so you can sell it the next day. So the money will flow from an accounting standpoint, but it's ultimately going to go to the supplier. You're only going to get the stock.
The stock.
It's buy now, pay later.
Oh,
our customers, our end customers never actually got cash. They just got what they needed, which is a product.
So that's a very interesting conversation because, there was one experiment we ran where you're lending to these sort of market women, retailers.
Yeah.
And you find that your NPL is less than 1%. If anything, it's actually 0 NPL, right? What you can have is delayed payments, But what you find is that they would always pay.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
in a situation where you've identified a customer and you've probably been able to geolocate. So it's not a customer that is using an umbrella. They have a physical verifiable
Store.
shop, which is either in front of their house or whatever. This is where you stay, right? If you extend a fraction of their turnover as credit to them, you would not see Mama Sikira
Yeah.
running away for you for 200,000 naira, because guess what? You'll come to our house to say, "Where's my 200,000?"
Yeah.
It's not a pinpoint. She might say, "You know what? I use the money to pay school fees, right? Come back next week, I would have it for you."
Yeah.
But if you get Mama Sikira 2 million, which is maybe 10x of what she needs, then there's incentive to say, "I want to."
You're encouraging the devil
Right.
to.
Yeah.
But when you then if you then operate within those ambits of what they really need, you'd find out that if you did pull that credit line, they would say, share, where's that thing now? We need it, right? And you'd find that you'll be able to build a strong ecosystem.
I'm
But
so
So
sorry.
those are sort of sizes that you give away as well. Is it 200,000 naira? Is it?
Yeah, it was in
is
that
that your
range.
size on average?
That 200 to 5 million.
So what's your
typically.
turnover? What's your turnover? What rates rather? Let me start
Yeah.
with that. What rates are you giving
I mean,
for
it
200,000
depends,
naira?
right, on the
risk,
risk. But typically, it's sort of like 3 to 5% a month.
which is basic.
Yeah.
Which is-
but
but I heard some-
Sorry,
I heard some-
5% a month. Is that
MME
flat or
rates.
annualized? As in every month? As in, so I'm paying you back 5%.
Yeah. So you're paying back 5% plus, and it's almost even
That's
kind
like
of
60% a year.
Yeah, but it's
Yeah,
flat.
but it's flat.
Yeah.
You're not, it's flat.
But that's
and then you
basic
think about
MFB
the
rates. Yeah.
but the margin you're facilitating, right? Because I'm giving you that money for 30 days, but you're actually turning inventory maybe twice or 3 times a week.
So that's not a lot
Yeah,
of debt
getting-
burden to put in a business.
Yeah.
I was going to pay back 5% on that.
Yeah. If you
Usually,
make-
those kind of businesses are cash flow positive, so it's around the turnover that they do. So they just need to be able to buy the goods, bring them in, sell them.
Yeah. Okay.
even
pay-
if you're
rinse and
making a
repeat.
3% margin on that product, which is
Yeah.
quite low, and you're turning over twice
Okay.
a week, that's 6% in a week.
That's good.
So on the liability side, where did you get your funding from? Is it the banks? Is it
Yeah.
DFIs?
Yeah, it was a mix
You
of
can
both.
always see Arnold.
Institutional
Arnold is
lenders.
always checking if there's business.
You know,
for him.
and like you said, you might have an announcement. So if you have a line of credit that you can extend to us, we're not proud.
I know.
We're not proud.
Sorry,
But
yeah,
it
so
was
funding.
institutional, funders, the banks, HNIs as well.
Okay.
The DFIs were helpful because, this fulfilled a lot of the check boxes, right? The
ESG, corporate,
supported,
yeah.
forward business, etc.
Yeah.
And then because the banks, love the banks, they are so risk intolerant for a certain category. We had to have conversations about how we mitigate risk. So if the DFIs come and say we can provide an on-lending facility, or we can actually provide a partial guarantee. Because the banks are saying we don't have any track record of historical defaults. If it was saying yes, the defaults are like less than 1%, the banks are like, we don't know. And so those DFIs are helping kickstart the programs because we were confident that this was a credit-worthy, bankable space.
Yeah.
And we prove that out.
Okay.
And the unfortunate thing is that SMEs in the country are the ones who need capital the most, but they're the most beaten by macro.
Yes, the macros, absolutely.
Yeah.
We're talking about
So how do you get around that? Sorry. So how do you get around that, right? So if they're the most bitten by macros, then they should be NPLs should be.
Yeah. So
But still, they're saying NPLs
that-
are like less than 1%.
because you're lending it's cash flow lending, right?
Yeah.
So it's unsecured. But if you think about where you sit in the cash flow, you're at the very top. You're kind of super senior. We are providing working capital. It's not, after we've paid salaries and everything's like, no, as you're selling. You're selling.
Okay, so you're taking
into-
it as
Yeah.
your money is coming
Yeah.
into this wallet, right? With whichever payments or e-commerce company, or pulling it
you're
via
taking it out.
API.
Yeah. Okay. So you're taking from the top. You're not waiting
Yeah.
for it to go down on the income statement. You're not waiting for it to go
We're
down.
not waiting for the story, the part of stories to enter.
You just
Yeah.
from the top. Okay, but sorry. I'm also thinking turnover, right? If you have a $10 million book and you're giving out 200,000 naira, and then 5%, I mean, how long does it take? Because remember the DFIs, you have to pay the DFIs.
Please explain to him. It just shows how much of the streets Arnold doesn't know.
Because you have to pay the DFIs back.
Yeah.
10% on the USD. Essentially, okay, I'm a DFI, give it $10 million. I want my 10% at the end of the year. Right? You're giving this guy 200K. You're collecting 5%. Man, do you make it back?
It's a great question, but I think it's also part of like why a lot of us have lost hair, right? We've been around the block enough to know. There's certain things that you just don't. Why go there? Currency risk. We didn't take currency risk.
Okay.
So DFI could on-lend in dollars, but the funding needs to be in naira.
Okay.
So our liability side will always completely match.
There's still size that you have to pay back.
Yeah.
But you're giving out 200K. But there's a 10 billion naira.
But you're drawing down.
Oh,
you're drawing down.
Okay.
So the way it was working, and that's why the banks are also important, because we built an API to enable this happen in a fully automated way. So essentially, every single application, the banks, there's an API ping to the bank, and they create a virtual account. They send the money. So it's not like the pool of money has now been dispersed and is incurring interest, but it's actually on a on-demand basis.
Yeah, so cool.
So as it's there's no overdrafts, there's nothing on it. It's just flat.
Yeah.
And they allow you to pull it down whenever you need.
Absolutely.
Okay.
It's all happening digitally.
Yeah.
So I think one thing
Are you satisfied?
I'm getting
there.
One thing that is missing is that you look at these market women and you realize that you're telling me a bank statement. Their lives is not on the bank statement.
Yeah.
There's so many of these wallets where their lives. So if today you tell my secretary to bring her bank statement, you will not see her transaction.
Yeah.
So when you're getting creative in this environment, you say to yourself, I'm going to work. I want to look at a retailer. If I can see a retailer's ordering pattern, so a retailer orders 200,000, 300,000 goods every month, right? And I
see she's paying.
Yeah.
And I can see the verifiable platform. What I can then say is, okay, her weekly turnover times whatever, I will provide you 40% liquidity of that. So if she's ordering 300,000 this week, I want her to move to 500,000.
Exactly.
She can do more business. She can have longer shelf life. But that is data that a lot of the banks will not want to do that hard work. In which case, because I hear things like OPay that I can't verify this, but I've been told that their interest rates on their kind of loans are in double digits.
And they're dispersing.
People are paying.
And they're dispersing.
And they're dispersing a lot of money.
That's
double digits, not even this 3% they're talking about.
It's so the thing is that those places, those sectors are like that. But by the way, I needed to say this. You guys asked, and we have made it available. Drinks and Max now on Spotify. Yes.
Finally.
Yeah, finally. I know, right?
What's our Spotify
See,
family?
you guys really don't blame us. I need to say this because I was mentioning to him at the beginning of the show. We really do not. It wasn't like one of these shows that we planned and we did one script. It was just, guys, let's do this thing. Oh yeah, you come on Sunday, you come on Wednesday. Oh yeah, Wednesday, Thursday. So that's what created this. It's so. The Spotify thing was really like you guys pushing, but you did push. Thank you, and do check it out. Now, yes, do not forget the comment section. Please go share to somebody, somebody who's not ever seen Drinks and Mike, share to them. And do not forget to comment, even if you're insulting me.
The nation's uncle.
I love it. Please keep it coming. But two things. There was something Otuba said when he was saying the woman that she might have used the money to pay her children's school fees. The thing is that in my head, I heard the conversation. Okomi. Mason next week.
That's the conversation.
So what's your reaction then as someone who's in that situation?
No, but she will pay. So here's the thing. She's not lying. And she's in fact, she doesn't
not going
even
anywhere.
She doesn't even see what she did as an issue because she knows the cash flow is coming, but she had to pay school fees.
So you also have to understand that the moment she gets that lifeline, right, is that you are allowing her to do more business.
Yeah.
The day you yank that lifeline from her, if she doesn't pay, because you can blacklist her, right? Is that she realizes that that's, again, even her ability to maybe order from potentially a partner also disappears.
Yeah.
So she's incentivized to ensure that that loan performs. Again, as long as those loans are a percentage of what she's currently doing, you know.
And you know, a successful retailer is successful based on traffic. Right? They are plugged into traffic. So if she's a mom and pop shop, the reason why she's successful is that everybody in the community uses her. That's the only reason why she's successful. If she's in the marketplace, she's successful because she has customers who come to her regularly. So she has traffic. That if she's successful to a certain extent, the issue is not about sales. The issue now is about capacity. So if you're a lender, the thing you have to really check is that capacity, that turnover capacity. The problem with them is that they do so small margin businesses that is very difficult to scale big without the injection from outside.
So there's two things that I'm getting to my head. The first thing is, as a micro lender, you have to change the definition of things like NPLs and defaults, right? Or delayed payments or use of funds, right? You have to sort of get that out of your head, because you know, as a lender, your use of funds is this, and if the person uses the funds for something else, it's a problem. Right. And then number two, NPLs, you might have a 30, 60, 90 day.
Sort of rules, IFRS 9.
Right.
So what you need to recognize. Sure.
And then number two, you're not lending for growth.
But you are. I mean, and that's a fundamental thing, because the funds need to go to working capital. It's stock financing, right? So, because otherwise, it's
I'm not lending for expansion, right?
No,
I'm not lending.
It is.
So remember what Otuba said. I've seen that you do 300K every month. I'm going to lend you 40% of that 300K so that you can now do 500K.
Leverage you,
yes, I'm leveraging you to buy more.
Okay.
Now you buy the 500K, you pay them back, you pay the the wholesaler,
and then
you pay
reapply.
Otuba, and then you have more margin now from that 500K, so you're able to buy more. You can still collect the 40% and still keep the 500 going, but you're now having more margin to be able to play.
And the beautiful thing is you've now created a credit history, right? She's had one cycle of borrowing and repaying. And she comes back. You can upsize. You continue that way. So by the end of a year, you know, by month 12, maybe you started at 30% of average monthly. Maybe you're at 80% of average monthly. That's almost like a month's worth of stock.
Okay.
You know, so that's 1 over 12. So you're almost at like 7% of like sales in improvement. So you scale that way, but it has to be for growth.
Anyway, let's move on. Arnold is looking for business. You guys can talk. So first conversation we're talking about. So last week, y'all saw the crypto market. As we were speaking here, chaos happened. You know, we're talking about the fact that markets were, you know, going up and down and things like that. No, we're saying markets were going and we're worried about a bubble. And boom, that night some things happened. And basically it started with Trump making statements. Xi also had his own version of the statements around rare earth conversations. And somehow, it led to the tariff word that affected markets. Everything went belly up. I thought we were past this. I really thought
West Coast beef.
I thought we were past this. The world still seems to shiver, despite the fact that we've seen many of Trump's, threats. That didn't amount to much, a lot, you know. But now he still comes out and everybody's still shaking in their boots. Going forward, do we think this is the new norm? Once the American president just says something, everybody just...
It's still the American president.
Well.
I think one of the things that, you know, you could argue that the markets have kind of priced in, you know, tariff uncertainty, increased tariffs, and therefore maybe even sort of a world where you have a new normal of increased inflation. So there's tariff shock that's been priced in, but the tariff pain that is expected with every new announcement is always still a new market event, right? And so when you hear about the rare earths and then, we're going to slap 100% tariffs, it's now creating a new sort of like normal in that short period of time. It could completely unwind, but the reverberations are real. Like rare earths are, China has 90% of the rare earths industry. Is actually quite incredible that they've gotten to a point where they have 90% of any sort of industry, especially something as critical as that.
Yeah.
And this is not, they've done this a couple of times now, slapping this ban on rare earths. And you can see the US is already reacting to that with investments in MP and a couple of other rare earth companies in the US. And other countries are going to see that this is something that we need to now localize our supply chains. But it takes some time.
Otumba, I think the question is, why did this spook markets?
So you need to look at what someone shorted the market, right? Someone sold $19 billion
And
worth
emptied
of
Arnold's account.
Again, the largest. If you go back, the largest sell of that's ever happened was about $2 billion. So this is 10x what we've ever seen before. So 19 billion was a lot, right? But what even keeps me awake at night is the fact that there was a lot of insider trading. There's, like what a time to be alive. And the thing is, it's one of those things where in America you commit a crime today, but you go to jail maybe 10 years later. But I just don't see how, it's very clear that the information was, people were proving information before that announcement, or
you don't think it was just a market guru?
What market?
Crypto market.
That just saw it.
It just saw it.
They just knew that there's something coming in the.
I thought it was you that did it to you. I thought you sold your.
No, but funny enough, I had nothing to do with it. But I did sell mine before the crash.
Or did you buy the dip?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
So that was why I sold, because I knew there was going to be some sort of, but I didn't expect what happened.
The size of it was out of.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Yeah.
I think Bitcoin was 125 or so, went down to 102.
I mean, I saw a guy tweet. He said, I had just lost $50 million.
Jesus Christ.
That this is the last time.
Excuse me.
If I lose $50 million, tweets will not be
This
the.
is the last time he's ever going to trade this asset class.
He'll be okay.
$50 million. That's what he lost.
Jesus Christ.
But the current crypto
How did you
was.
feel, by the way? Because Arnold has an account that he shows us regularly that he started at the start of the year to
Your crypto account.
No,
Yeah.
so it's a fun it's a fun account, right? So so normally when I want to understand patterns, I have this weird obsession with patterns. But when I want to understand something, I put money behind it. So I call it invest and investigate. Crypto is something that I've started putting some money in, but 3 ETFs. So IBIT for Bitcoin and Ethereum, and there's one for XRP that I've been looking at. But I wanted to understand crypto more. So I opened an account with a trading company. I won't mention the name. And I put $5 in it in February. And I turned it to about $102 in last week.
Yeah.
Yeah. So sorry, I turned it to $102.
When you say 5, it's like you don't put the M, you don't add the M or the B. Right?
No, it's literally $5. So I wanted to do it as a
Just to learn the patterns.
two things. So to learn the pattern, to understand how crypto reacts to news and what coin was more volatile or more liquid. But also I wanted to also use it as an interview technique for anyone that I would like to interview to join me in my position. If you can do better than me, then you can start the interview. If you can do better than me in a year, then we can start the interview process.
Yeah.
So how long would it take me for me to turn $5 into $10,000? Can I do it in a year?
Yeah.
Without adding any new money to this account? So it's really leveraged. So I put $5 in, and just trading in and out crypto and oil, I turned it into $102 in 6 months. But then because I was really leveraged, long oil, crypto and the rest, it went down to back to $5.26.
Wow.
Yes. As in,
That's incredible.
I left my phone on the table. I went to a 2-hour meeting. I came back. I looked, and $102 turned into $5.
Wow.
Yeah. So I mean, but I never. It was just a trading account to understand. So now I understand.
Yeah.
The
Just
leverage
what
and
you're signing up
volatility
for, right?
of it's all part of. So I made my notes. So it's not emotional. It's a scientific study to understand how the markets react to leverage and how the market reacts to volatility. So it's still part of the the experiment.
I mean, you're gold. It seems like you're a gold bug, right?
I just happen to be the gold.
So, and I'm saying that because everyone says Bitcoin is digital gold, and it typically tracks, right?
Yeah.
Inflation fears, Bitcoin, gold, rising, but it started to diverge, right?
Yeah.
Gold's risen to like 4,000, Bitcoin's gone to 122, 25,000, and back down, and it makes you wonder. Do fundamentals still apply? Sometimes that's one thing that I've been thinking about when it comes to crypto. And then the second thing was an announcement that the DOJ just seized about $15 billion of Bitcoin from some Cambodian crime ring, right?
Yeah.
And if you read
maybe they sold it. That's something for you to think about.
It's
possible.
That's something for you to think about.
And the way they seized it is shrouded in mystery.
Yeah.
And there are different theories that maybe they actually just hacked the wallet of
the person who owns
but
it,
if they
right?
can hack the wallets,
and it's a security concern.
Yeah, it's a security concern, and because the beauty of Bitcoin is anonymity, right?
Yeah.
I just have my hash and my IP address. Like nobody can effectively trace it back to me, right? Unless
Let me ask you.
That's not entirely true anymore, though.
That's part of the concern also. And then if you go even further, it's really code, right? It's code that people have created because they don't trust fiat. And that code is unbreakable. It's impenetrable, right? Just based on just the cryptology or cryptography of it. But if the US government or other government institutions are getting closer to that, all of it, digital gold and all of these things, it's now questioning the actual, fundamental value of this thing, right?
Thing,
Yeah.
So I did hear there was a short position of about 750 million just before the announcement.
Yeah.
And whoever that person is,
that was 30 minutes before the announcement.
30 minutes before.
And the
we
person
need to
and the thing
answer
happened,
that question.
cashed out after the announcement.
So I wanted to ask you, so you talked about the fundamentals of Bitcoin. I mean, because I'm still trying to understand the asset class and hence that account and me trading according to news and volatility and leverage and whatever. But I'm trying to understand because you talked about the fundamentals changing. So what fundamentals do you see in Bitcoin or crypto that changed? Because you talked about the relationship with gold and crypto, I guess, from the view of digital gold, which everyone's talking about. But what fundamentals did you see change?
I mean, for me, there's a huge hype cycle that still follows crypto. Commodities are commodities, right? Gold actually has like a fundamental use outside of, a store of value. Crypto and I love crypto. Half of the industry is like meme coins, which mean nothing. They're worthless. It's just pure speculation. Bitcoin has broken through that barrier and based on at least just adoption, right? It's getting to a point where you have enough institutional adoption with the ETFs, the asset managers, that actually has value because people are using it as a unit of exchange to a degree. There's still a lot of friction.
Yeah.
So, but it starts to break away from the, inflation hedge and all those things because the uses are, for the most part, anti-government, anti-institutional, which tells me that if I am a government, I want to control this. And once governments start to control this, I've been to crypto conferences. The people who are true believers, the hodl crowd, this is like the last thing they want, right? And it gets to a point where central banks start to build their own. You have stable coins, and then there's like a conflict between what people intended it for and it being co-opted by the mainstream. And then it no longer starts to trade like what it was supposed to be as a hedge against fiat versus now it's actually a complement to fiat.
So what I always say about this, crypto thing, again, I'm still trying to understand it as well, is the fact that you hold crypto, but when it's time to cash out, you're cashing out in USD.
Not cashing out in
what
Bitcoin.
exactly? So the day, or maybe there's a world in the future where, maybe there's no USD, there's no currency. So if I want to pay share, I'm going to pay share Bitcoin. Then I know that crypto is
So
Indeed,
we're close. I do know there are crypto ATMs in parts of the world. There are crypto
You should look at
point
the
of sale
interchange fees on those
terminals.
ATMs.
Yeah,
the price-
those fees are really
Yeah.
high. And then there are point of sale terminals where you can pay with crypto. It's still like bits and pieces. It's like spots across the world, which are pin drops in the ocean, really. But that it was the goal. But the thing that enables those things to be is institutional infrastructure.
Yeah.
So if you do not make it open to fiat or the backers of fiat, then there's really no way.
There's one thing. I know you don't like Jimmy Diamond, but there's something he said. He said there's one thing governments don't like is that they don't like to is like the inability to know where your money is.
Yes.
They hate that.
Yeah.
So for him, that's his own case. Is to say crypto is a joke. Is that governments always want to know where your money is at because they have to tax you. So
Absolutely.
they would never let go of that reign.
Yeah, they would
of
never.
where the money and the money cannot stay there forever.
The second
And
biggest
by the way, I do not like Diamond.
look into the camera.
I just
Look into the camera.
I just know that predictions are many.
Bros J.
Yeah, Bros J, he predicts a lot, but it's not every time the predictions. And when you're eloquent, people never come back to ask you, bros, the last one you said didn't happen. So that's my only thing with you. That's my only thing. Going to it. So we did see the crypto dump. It was crazy, but that kind of takes us into the segue next.
Gold hit an all-time high again.
Yeah. Tell us about it.
No. I thought out there. It's just fun to see, but there could be a correction anytime soon, right? Or anytime. And it's. I know we didn't mean to talk about it, but I don't know where the gold price is now. It's gone past target prices. It's gone into its own thing, and it does feel like there's a bit of the FOMO crowd in now, and I call the FOMO crowd investors and retail investors, just guys that feel like they've missed an opportunity. But then again, one of my reasons for when I was still long gold above 3,500, which is my target, was I saw that not everyone in the world had adopted the whole gold as an investment, or even used gold as much as other people, which is Japan, right? Japan still had a low hold of gold. Yeah. Despite the price of gold outperforming Japanese equities, Japanese bonds, and so many Japanese assets. Yeah. Gold is still pretty much on the own in Japan. But as of last week or this week, you're starting to see the Japanese investors now come into gold, which still makes it interesting for me. And if you still think that US cuts rates, which I think they still have to cut, I put out a center. If you still think Fed cuts rates, which they still have to cut, and then rate cut is also a gold trigger, a gold catalyst. So
yields are going down.
Exactly, yields are going down, and US government have to cut because for the first time in probably 40 years, you're finding that the US debt obligation is higher than US is making in income that's coming in for the first time since.
So that's debt to revenue is not 100.
ROA or debt to assets, or you can say ROA. So basically the debt obligations, the amount of repayments they have to make on US Treasury holders is now so high that is more than the income that they're making.
Okay, then
so it means that debt to revenue. Sorry, I was in debt to revenue. So now it means they have to actually cut rates. Now they have to now get, and that's the first time since 1971.
And debt as a percent of GDP is also just over 100%.
And that's skyrocketing as well. So they have to actually cut rates. So if you think that there's going to be a rate cut,
I think you stop repeating these things because you're giving our current government ammunition.
I think we said it should cut. We said so. The thing is this. When we were saying, we talked about this months ago. I said cut. He said no. He was feeling like he was standing against Trump.
No, but that's not. Well, come on. There's the tariff now. I mean, again, we haven't. The tariff. Honestly, you need to put people on the ground. It's not even go to Canada.
Inflation is up.
Inflation is up. People are complaining. right? $500, $1,000 of groceries means nothing anymore to the average man on the street. So we can't honestly discount the fact that the tariff has distorted people's pockets.
Anyway, so quickly,
but I mean, one way around
drop
that
in
is
on the
credit growth.
what do you call it? Connections to crypto growth. I just thought to quickly share. So the reason why I sold is simple. Crypto's growth isn't really based fundamental. It's tied to some hype cycle. The hype might be tied to fundamentals, but it's not the fundamental itself that drives the growth of crypto. Now, the growth before last week had nothing attached to it. There was no hype. There was nothing happening. There was no excitement anywhere, but it was just rising. And I knew something bad was about to happen. So that's just my theory. But if you look at crypto over the years, it grows around some hype. Anyway, going straight to it, we wanted to talk about AI and the bubble around it. But I wanted to start... Otuba, I wanted to read out this headline from Business Insider talking about Mark Zuckerberg says he'd rather risk misspending a couple of $100 billion than be late to super intelligence. So he agrees that we're in a bubble.
Yeah.
But he's saying...
I do think that bubble is the future.
But the funny thing is reiterating that, saying that actually reiterates that the fact that it's a bubble, because normally a bubble is when companies spend crazily on capex, right?
Yeah.
You know, oil and gas, when oil is at 100 and something dollars, oil and gas companies are overpaying, overspending. Mining companies, the same thing. So now tech companies, so him actually saying, I know it's a bubble, but I'm also going to overspend. He's actually saying, I know it's a bubble and I'm acting like it is a bubble.
But I think that the opportunity is so huge that you say to yourself, no, I'm serious.
Can you afford not to?
The music is playing.
The opportunity is so huge that if you are caught not doing this,
but it's the same.
You might be so late.
But that's the bubble. I'm going to buy the top because it might just go up. I know it's the top, but I'm still going to buy it. But it's the top.
But
I'm going to buy it just in case it goes up.
But
that's what it is, right? And those sort of things make me feel like, okay.
Let me tell you all this story, right? I was talking to a client of mine, and he said to me that his girlfriend, his ex-girlfriend anyways, how he felt that he was second to our AI bot. So basically, this AI bot handles her calendar. When she has emotional issues, you know, she talks to the AI. So I'm like, even that AI knows his girlfriend so much that the AI is probably saying you should break up with that guy. That guy is not good.
He's a bad guy. So I saw his facial expression.
So I had to ask you that. Are you even sure that
you broke up or
exactly. But the thing is, however I like it or not, that's where the world is going.
Yeah.
And how do you not
take a bet?
Have some sympathy for the big tech, the Mag 7. They're sitting on trillions of dollars in cash, right? Where do they put that money, right? AI comes about. I mean, out of all the sort of niche, sort of new technologies, crypto, metaverse, they all kind of sort of failed and became faddish. But artificial intelligence truly is a breakthrough. I mean, I don't think anyone can discountenance that. And if you think about the inputs that are required to make AI sort of work, it's extremely capital intensive. You need data centers. The data centers need chips. They need a ton of power, an insane amount of power. Like when you see some of the statistics, right, they're adding Nigeria's installed capacity every quarter. You know, like OpenAI is setting up 10 gigawatts of power, and that costs, a gigawatt costs like $35 to $50 billion, and they're doing 10. NVIDIA wants to do 67. If I'm sitting on $2 trillion, dollars of cash as an industry, this is where I'm going to deploy it, right? Like at this point, the conversation is not really about return on invested capital. It's more about how do we maintain our dominance, right?
Yeah.
This is the instrument which we will use to continue to control, dominate.
The world.
It might be a 1% ROIC
for now,
right?
But we can't.
with control. and we can deploy.
Arnold, this is another headline. A VC firm says it fired all its analysts and is using AI to help run deals for its new $75 million fund.
Yeah.
When you hear stories like that, how can you not bet?
Yeah. No.
How? It's
Yeah, I
really not
understand.
possible.
Wow.
I was talking to
I understand and I agree.
I was talking to a cousin of mine. He said
He's giving ideas.
he said the money he spends on lawyers now for lawyer services has dropped significantly because the thing is now basic thing as maybe you want to do a rental agreement or your tenant.
You can just draw it up
don't
yourself.
know.
GPT will
So
run
I mean,
it.
Run it, right?
also to say, I talk about turning $5 into $102 in 6 months. One of the things that I failed to mention is I was also trying to understand. So I'm a good trader, right? I know.
Supposedly.
I use behavioral economics. I've read countless books, thick books on technical analysis.
Yeah.
So I understand. I look at charts, and for me, it's like the Matrix, where you see the other guy. I know what he's doing.
Yeah.
I know what the resistance is like. When there's a resistance, I see another trader there hitting the price down. But I use ChatGPT to make my decisions. So I wanted to understand. So obviously, but decisions that I was in control of what I put in ChatGPT. Yeah. But before I took decisions, I would do the snippets of the charts, and I would say, this has happened in the news. This is my entry point. This is what you see. What should I do? And ChatGPT would advise me on what to do, and I'll make that decision.
Yeah.
Right. So there was also obviously with my knowledge of behavioral economics. Yeah. Reflexivity, whatever you want to call it, and Daniel Kahneman, thinking fast and slow, as well as technical analysis. Yeah. With ChatGPT, I was able to do 20 times in 6 months. So I understand AI is definitely something that is.
Does anybody have the answer to the fact that? So, for instance, I don't know if you now. So there are refrigerators. We have TVs that are smart these days. We have refrigerators that are smart that can, text you on inventory. You're low on milk. If we go into a super intelligent world, first of all, we now agree that they can't help but make these bets. The worry for the rest of us who are mere mortals, who do not have billions and billions to just throw after this fantasy world, is where do we place in the grand scheme of things? Because not only will our cars be at their disposal, our electronics are at their disposal, our door system, our smart homes they basically have access to every single thing we do. Where do we? What do we do?
We'll be the serfs who work for the machine. You've watched iRobot, you know what happens.
Age of the Robots. Oh, one of the things I've always dreamt about is I want to do grocery shopping. So I put on my whatever, my goggle, and I'm able to walk through a Sainsbury's.
So what's this way?
He says he's imagining it.
Imagination. But that's the world that I envision will happen, where I use my goggles, I can walk through a grocery store and I can actually physically see myself picking what I want. And if
you could do it on the internet, then why would I won't need to. I'll just open my laptop and just.
But there's also, I also enjoy being able to go to a grocery store and pick my own thing.
I get anxiety from grocery stores, man. So
and you can obviously use that in different other industries, including what we were discussing before the
show. Many industries. The application is endless. But I think for Zuck, he sees it from the perspective of running businesses.
Yeah.
He wants to be the person that is providing AI that runs all the businesses in the world.
There's no question that it's, a bubble. But for Zuck, I think, and the rest of them, I think is strategic because ultimately, even Apple, who's kind of been left behind a bit, is scrambling to try and catch up because
they should
at the end of the day,
they are left behind
because it's also technology and code. Yeah, in a weird way, the algorithms are very low barrier to entry, right? Mm-hmm. So you need to throw so much capital at it, to
be able to stand out
and keep market share. OpenAI is not supposed to break. They're not going to break even, or they're not expecting to break even until 2030, and it's worth $500 billion, and they're investing $100 billion here and there. So we have to pay for that market dominance and control and market share.
All right. So we're coming back to Nigeria. Just a quick segue. To mention that there was a closed door session between fintechs and the central bank earlier. I was about to say earlier today, but it depends on when you're watching this. Drinks and Mics is in the room with that conversation. It's happening somewhere. It's not. But yeah, I saw some pictures and it looked really good. When I said Ugodre was forming cabal, you may now get a hint of what is going on. But yeah, it's great conversations that is happening there. Hopefully that it will translate into some of the things that we hope to be seeing in the future. But quickly, coming back to Nigeria's inflation numbers, I need to remind viewers of Drinks and Mics that some months ago, I did predict that very soon we might see inflation at 15%.
Is it 50? Is it at 15%?
No, it's very close. It's now at 18.02.
So let's get there first. Now.
I am just saying.
I can also say we'll get to 9%.
No,
Right?
no.
You have to say it's when.
But I said
Otherwise,
soon.
you're Jamie
I said
Dimon, aren't you?
soon. No.
The man that you love so much.
I never see. I knew where we were going. So we saw inflation come in. I think we saw also food inflation month on month coming at a negative number. I think. Wait, let me see. I think that it was negatives 1.4 or so. Let me check the numbers. But it was pretty interesting numbers that came through, and I hate to be the one to explain it, but it was expected. It was expected.
Yeah, no, it was. Yeah, it was. I mean, we discussed it and had the same.
I think there's one interesting dynamic. At least this was one angle, right? I think when you look at that sort of FMCG space, there's a lot of price destruction. I won't call it price destruction, but essentially people are happy to sell their products at cost price on the basis that you will earn a rebate. So let me explain how this works. What happens? A manufacturer makes products, pass it on to distributor. Distributor will then potentially take it into the central market or to wholesalers, retailers, and then till it gets to your doorstep. What you find is that for distributors, you also always have a volume target or annual target that you have to meet. So maybe 20% growth year on year. Now, there's always two things for the distributor is I want to meet my volume target because it unlocks some level of rebates from the manufacturer, right? Now the thing is, you can then obviously have a portion of your inventory, which is what will give me profitability. So, okay, I will sell these ones at the profit, but I will use this part of my inventory to meet my volume target. What you then find is that in that space, right now, because there's just so much, a lot of the warehouses are clogged with products where customers are not buying. Again, I think we fairly had a fairly good harvest as well, or we're going to have a good harvest, and the agri products are available, right? What you find is that the dry goods is that they're sitting in the warehouse with no offtake.
Yeah.
So to meet your volume target, distributors today are happy to sell those products at cost price, or in some cases they're happy to apply their rebates on those products. So basically, you can find that a certain product is selling lower than
normal cost price,
the factory price in the market.
Yeah.
So all of these things will contribute towards.
Well, based on what you're saying, there's a risk that it could unwind.
It should unwind. I mean, I expect that for right now is a lot of manufacturers should be sort of repairing their margins.
Yeah.
Right. I would not be in a rush to correct my prices if I don't have to, if there is potential. But the thing is, obviously, if you go to your distributor now, you see that there's a volume clog, then you have to start cutting back. So a lot of these things will drive.
One of the things with the inflation print, and I was excited and happy. We still have a ways to go. The countries are you maybe ahead or behind, whichever way you look at it, like Egypt, Ghana, and 30s, inflation, they're all sort of single digit now. So we still have even 15% is not good enough. And I just wonder if, directionally this is positive, but how do we get past structural high inflation, right? And for me, we need massively more productivity. We need to have just more goods produced to chase the demand that we have. And so we were talking about AI and the bubble and all of those things. And, we need to have an infrastructure bubble where we can have a surfeit of capital that's going into building roads, rail, ports, electricity, all of those things to actually
So what do you think is stopping that infrastructure bubble from happening? Because you're seeing, if I look at it from maybe my short lens as an asset manager, it feels like every asset manager and their mother has an infrastructure fund that they're launching, right? And everyone's raising money from pension funds.
It's because it's available now.
Nobody's saying that we need an infrastructure bubble.
It's just like the way when financial inclusion was the sexy thing. Everybody was doing financial inclusion.
So isn't there an infrastructure bubble? Or do you mean?
I think it's this, the capital you need is an order of magnitude more. So with the new PFA rules, you can do up to 25% in infrastructure, right?
Yes, about that. That's a new.
So that'd be maybe 6 trillion or thereabouts, or 7 trillion in terms of that's still nothing, right?
Are there bankable products too? I don't think they're bankable products.
It's a great
point. Everybody's creating.
It's a great point in terms of bankable projects. Because you have a supply side with the projects, right? But I do think that can be solved for, and that's one of the reasons. There's been talk around what's the cost of Lagos, Calabar Coastal Road. I have a very different view. For me, I'd rather let's be very aggressive, right? And there might be leakage, there might be wastage, but we're actually doing big things.
Fantastic.
For once.
First person that is on, please, cheers.
The comments.
Our drinks are very agrees with me because
but the leakages.
Some people say, what do you mean?
What's one leakage between friends?
No, they say, somebody say, why don't you? I don't like the way these people talk. They should go and plug the leakages. I said, go and plug it now. Did I say you should not go and plug it?
How the cost by kilometer?
I said, go and plug the leakage. The funny thing is that you are speaking like it is Tuji that is causing the leakage. Go and plug the leakages. We are saying plug the leakages. Yeah. Anyway, inflation was 18.02 year on year, 0.72 month on month. But I think the part that still surprised everybody was, like I said, the food inflation, which was month on month negative 1.57. We also saw services at month on month. Month on month 1.17. It was the usuals, but I think the harvest really did us good. It historically, inflation is always low around this time towards the end of the year because harvest times are always.
I think the question is, can Nigeria ever get a single digit inflation number? I think
we have before, Shao.
We have, but I think that the structural issues of Nigeria would always leave us in that early teens. I think that's the lowest level.
So you think we'll never get to single digit?
It goes back to being a growth problem.
If you don't create storage that allows your food prices remain stable throughout the year, you will not, because it's structural.
I don't think we can. I think we can do below.
But it's for me it's still a growth issue because you can have as is. You have ways to maybe get there, but I don't know if we can maintain when you have the population still growing at almost 2%. But you need, if you think about, if we increase food productivity by in Nigeria,
population growth.
I think
people have been attacking
you think it might
me.
be higher?
So people have been attacking me of recent. They go, I say Nigeria is 200 million people, and they go, we're not 200 million people. And the truth about it is that I'm now questioning the numbers again.
It's good to question the numbers.
Are we really 200 million plus?
I really can't say, but definitely bedroom productivity is high in Nigeria. But we need to get.
Is that the case? Is that in the south or in the?
Do we have a population problem?
I think in the north.
Do you think we have a population problem?
The population is a challenge. It is a challenge. I just do not know if we're 200 million people. Because if you look at Lagos is very overcrowded.
Is it really?
It is. Lagos is very overcrowded. But if you go into an Abuja, for instance, which Abuja is supposed to be a very busy city, you don't find that level of crowd. In Abuja.
But I'm learning that Lagos is quite
leave
big.
Abuja, then go to other states, Ekiti, what do you call it, Kwara. You go to all the states and you start to drive for miles and you don't see people. And you wonder, okay, so how exactly are we 200 million people? Now, this is just
for me,
this is the eye test.
Yep.
This is not empirical. This is just the eye test. But again, those are the questions. So even in Kano, do you see people crowded?
Kano is pretty crowded. There's
Okay.
a lot of people in Kano. I mean, if we look at like telecoms lines and use that sort of like those data points, right? Where,
How many
MTN
phones do you have?
I only have one, So yes, other people have
I know
more,
that's
but
I know. What?
so you're skewing the stats.
No, I have this really interesting question to ask. So something called cognitive ease. Right. So cognitive ease is the idea that if you hear something over and over again, you start to believe that it's true because it's just something you've heard before, so it's easy. So it's a challenge that I want to ask: is Lagos really overcrowded? Because Lagos is quite big, right? But I know everyone says Lagos is overcrowded. So cognitive ease kicks in. Just the concept of God and right. Everyone
Lagos
believes
is
that God
actually
is
small.
real.
If you go into the mainland or you go further out into Ajah and certain parts, there's no space.
Yeah.
There's absolutely no space.
Yeah.
Anyways, I never talk about this. Look at this road, but it annoys me. This is Lekki Ekpe Expressway. So one of those days I was going to the beach house around Eleko, and so again bad road. So you have to then sort of veer off into those villages. Those places are built up.
Yeah.
It
They're
is
densely populated.
It is
Densely populated. Yeah.
unbelievable.
Yeah. That's
like,
just shocking. It's always shocking when you see it. It's always
I'm like,
shocking.
are there this many people in this area?
Yeah. You if you
Incredible.
were
And
driving,
they're living on
driving
And there
past,
is no infrastructure, no roads.
Yeah.
It is absolutely a shame.
If you
Imagine
were
a bunch
driving
of
past the
Makokos
express.
all just
yeah.
dotted all over.
It's not even
the-
Marco. It's actually proper, well-built areas. There's nice
And
houses.
yeah, there's some nice houses in those places.
nice
Yeah,
houses,
very
everything,
nice
but
houses.
it's
yeah.
just no infrastructure, no road. So you then sit down on your Google map and you just try and map your way out. I mean, sort of land out ahead of the
Shout out to
traffic.
Google Maps. it always carries you out.
It took
on
a
this
while
one.
for Google Maps. I mean, when they first
Yeah,
started, really
but they got it. They got
getting
it.
lost.
But those places are hugely populated. It's crazy.
So I wanted to we wanted to segue back into a conversation we had last week about point of sale terminals. I just wanted us to quickly touch about that conversation. So I've been doing like some thinking around it and then having conversations with a few people, and I just had some insights into some of the thoughts around it. So I mean, it's one of the things that happened was, one of the people took me through like a history of how we got here. First starting from ATMs and how expensive they were to maintain. And then, especially in the interlands when you have to fund an ATM, many people might not remember that there was a time where almost every mall had multiple ATMs there where you could go, cash money and things like
I
that.
could do you one better. I don't know if you guys remember value cards.
Value cards.
Yes.
I do.
That was
almost like a diamond card.
That was the
Legacy, yeah.
That was the start.
So if you had to go into the interlands to, the way every ATM is built is that, somebody has to physically put the cash in, and then the person, if it's a place where the roads are bad, the person can't go with the armored vehicles. They have to, then climb Okada. And remember those times there were all kinds of news of, banker gets shot, things and
Cash
things.
heist, yeah.
Exactly,
yes.
those cash heists and things like that. Now, we've moved from there because, of course, banks were beginning to get wary of the interlands to the point where POS terminals started to become mainstay. Now, the conversation is it's now become ubiquitous across the country, but then it's now become the stage where, like we spoke last week about, people using it to, do all kinds of fraudulent activities. Now we've moved past there, where the players themselves, try to create some sort of movement to get the regulator to change some things around KYC and all of those. Even though KYC sometimes is not totally adequate. But of recent, there's been a more important reason for wanting to geolocate POS terminals. And it's more around security rather than a banking decision. And, might not want to speak about that, but it makes a lot of sense. But then it now comes down to how the implementation is done. Heart in a good place, but then how do they implement POS terminals? So the first question is, the conversation is around geolocation happening and going to be the technology that's going to be used to geolocate is going to work on Android 10. Now the question is, how many POS terminals do we have in Nigeria that are Android 10? I think maybe 70% are maybe between 5 and 7, even some even lower, right? And if you want to go up towards the north, where, because really POS business is really a buy now, pay later business. It is, I give you a POS terminal, and because of your transactions, you pay back the value of the POS.
Yes,
You get over time. Now, in those places, the POS doesn't do more than cash in, cash out. The hope of a POS is that it does cash in, cash out. You pay bills, you do this, it does multiple things. But in those places, they use the MPOS, which is a more smaller, lesser technology version of a POS. Now, if you are to implement that Android 10, then you completely disenfranchise that entire side of the country. So the question is, how do you implement a good policy without disenfranchising people? And I wanted to talk about it really about timing. When we were talking about earlier, you were like, it's 2026. There's a circular that talks about this year. Do it this year, I think November this year. Now, there's another circular from the same CBN that's talking about next year. That's another conversation for another day. But if it were to happen this year, which provider do you think would disrupt their dirty December plans to be able to implement geolocation?
Wow. So I think, when the CBN comes out with these sort of circulars, right, there's a lot of very important discussions that have probably been had at the highest levels that we're not necessarily privy to, because this is a sort of directive that is completely, it is a change in the market, right? And it is value destructive for a whole swathe of people, right? And those people also have, as a political constituency, they have a voice, they have their votes, and there are lots. And like you say, a lot are in the north. So, let's say it is a national security concern. We are enforcing a transition of technology, which means that there has to be a backup option. I would like to hope that we've moved beyond, the haphazard CBN policies of before. Especially
I don't think there's a backup option though. Because 30 December is such an important point for payment companies.
Do you not see, there's a couple of large payment companies, right? They could sit down and say, okay, how much does it cost? 100K per POS or whatever. How many we need to get, like another 100,000 or so. How much cash have you raised? And we'll bring a bunch of you together.
Oh, okay. So you will give them the money.
Well, I mean, it could be a bit of the money they have and support from the government. But this is me putting on my hat and what I would do if I was a policymaker, right? If I'm
why would we think about that? Because the simple question is to create a solution that cuts across all Android devices. Because especially with the MPOS, because they call it MPOS, so it's the one that is smaller.
Yeah, it's like a mobile.
Yeah, exactly. You connect it to your. So you those ones are they are very lightweight, not very expensive. if you do that, you've disenfranchised a lot of people. So that means if you go into some interlands, you would not find POS terminals. That's a problem.
It's curious, but and it's not clear why. And I feel with the fullness of time, we'll understand
There's
why.
never a
Because
I mean,
fullness
it's
of
one of
time.
those things. You know, we've been on this path before. I'm sure you remember the massive fines that was put on MTN, I believe, on the back of just not implementing. Was it BVN or
validating it was NIN?
And
Yeah.
connecting
They said a bunch of
so none of
terrorists
that,
were
and that was
not
really,
registered.
and that was really because of it was a security issue, right? So I think it's one of those things where the direction has been set. We might need to have a conversation on the timing of when it should be done, because the thing is, you have to do technological upgrades. You need to be able to at least plan how that
It's a transition period. Yeah.
how that's going to work. But I think it's one of those things where it's crazy that today you have kidnapped somebody, now you have to bring it POS terminal to come and pay the money inside the jungle.
They say, bring your card. Bring your card. You have to put it here.
Some of these things are, I guess, probably for the greater good. And this is coming from a place where I have my best friend. His father was kidnapped on Lagos Ibadan Expressway, and he said for 3 days they were walking through the jungle between Lagos and Ogun State. They just kept moving, until about, I think, 20 million naira was paid in cash.
Wow.
So these are real issues, right? I as a person, I am what's the word? I'm traumatized. Like when I travel, I don't like traveling. You tell me that I'm burying there's a party in Ogun State, I don't go. I'll tell you that I'm out of the country because I'm just again traumatized by some of these
stories.
Really.
Yeah, it does scare you because you've seen so many of those things happen. I the first day I heard about armed robbers coming to a house, and they're like, everybody's like,
POS?
everybody's like, there's no cash, and they're like, don't worry, bring your cash.
Are you serious? But like, stupid question again for the uninitiated. Isn't this registered? Can't you just?
It's trace where it's going to.
It's like, okay. I mean, it's
but with
No, but we have seen pictures. We have seen pictures of terrorists, right? In some parts of the country where you see them
POS.
showing cash and you see a POS there.
and we're getting sophisticated.
What are they using it for?
Some of these they have companies. You might
but you
even have
can-
a BDC. You might have a business.
You might have a
but then that
business
makes it
behind
very
it.
traceable.
Sure,
That's what I'm
sure.
saying. It makes it even
But-
more traceable. Am I missing something? I'm missing something.
I was reading.
I'm
I
missing
just read recently that the average ransom, I was about to say ticket size, but average ransom value is 2.7 million naira.
2.7 million naira.
2.7 million naira.
Wow.
So there's.
So
you're gonna be doing cash in, cash out transactions constantly.
but the thing is you can see
you're actually
patterns then.
starting to
Then you can see patterns.
swipe.
Then you can see patterns. So for me, this makes people easier
No,
to
I
catch.
think there are patterns
Yeah.
there.
Now you know it's 2.5 million. You can actually run a pattern. Maybe AI
You
comes in,
can.
but you can actually.
But for the institutions to think about it to the point where they say let's fix it this way is probably something where and do not forget the
Doesn't seem
actors
like
are
that.
very
Because-
intelligent.
Unless there's
what-
something that I'm
No,
missing.
the
where there
actors
are
are
people.
very intelligent.
There are actors who are also in. Like, do you understand what I'm trying to say? It's because this thing.
You're making a lot of sense, but I think it's not all of those things are mutually inclusive because you can start to see patterns, but if the amounts are going higher, right, and people are maybe starting to take more risks, I want to use POSs or even NIP, right? Then with these new rules, you're effectively forcing people into digital transacting, right? You're going to have to do transfers and all these things because you're just starving them of cash.
Yeah, true.
And then obviously when it's digital, then
And then
can
you
actually
hear
trace.
that it goes from the person goes to a POS, goes into crypto, and then just disappears.
You know what?
So maybe
This is a very personal one. We're a traumatized country, and we don't even realize things that we do here. That if you do it, when you do certain things abroad, you're thinking, could I have done that in Lagos? I'll give you an example. There was a day my wife decided to just send the kids out of the house, and she called a taxi. Put the nanny. I mean, she lives in Abu Dhabi. Called the nanny. put my 3-year-old.
Immediately you call it taxi.
Call the taxi.
The kids in it.
Put the nanny, my 3-year-old and my 16-month-old, and send them to the mall for 3 hours or 4 hours. Just because you wanted some alone time. I thought to myself,
I'm stressed hearing that, but
Exactly.
No, but it's Abu Dhabi. It's
so I'm saying to myself, can I do that in Lagos?
Lie.
Not even with your own driver
Lie.
and your own car.
Even with some people you know, say.
So
especially some people.
that's such a level of trauma, right? That some of these things that are considered normal, we can't do that to them in the environment. You know, I have a friend of my friend, a good friend of mine. I always see his son, doing parkour training. I'm wondering, and he always has the videos. I'm wondering, do you leave your office to go and record the boy? But guess what? It's his nanny that just takes him from the house. She just calls a taxi, takes the boy and the nanny to training. She records the video, sends to daddy. Daddy's able to put it on social media. But you know that your kid is going to go back to the house and it's going to be safe. In a country where BVN, NIN, your address, all these things are not tied together, are not verifiable,
Yeah, that was another conversation.
There's so many gaps.
That was another conversation we had. They're just the data, the human capital data in Nigeria is really just not great. So there are some parts of the world where you go to, and if you move in there, you're now a citizen. You've moved into that place. It's registered. Everybody knows that you're there.
I keep even saying all these personal things. So this is what happened very recently. I was in Kigali, and in our Airbnb, one of my friends said to me, they stole my money. Now, the house we were in, it was only the cleaner and the housemaid that entered those rooms. So automatically, it was going to be either one of the two.
Yeah.
And I was on a flight, and I messaged on the Wi-Fi, and I messaged the host to say, listen, $500 is missing, and we believe it's one of two of those guys. Before I landed Lagos, they had caught the Megad. And guess what? All they did was, I think they just took the guy's ID, and basically all the transactions he had done in the banking sector for Kigali is reflected. So they had seen that guy had sent $300 to the village already.
Wow. So the Niger guys are
This was literally 5 hours. 5 hours. The guy was caught. It was in police station.
The guy, all the ways to do it now.
The guy's probably like, this is Nigerians. They wouldn't know.
Yeah, you won't know. It's just
500 now.
In 5 hours, they had brought the guy. The guy had been apprehended.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
That just shows that their ID system plus the banking system is connected, so those things can be pulled and verified.
Yeah, but part of the problem is but what we do is, now add a plethora of other, social markers and identifiers. Now it's TIN, right? And I understand that, right? But then it's like you have NIN, you have BVN, you have TIN, and across different agencies,
and they don't talk.
The agencies are not talking,
yeah,
right?
So it makes it even more complicated.
So I used to say this too, but to be honest with you, they are all. So the BVN as an identifier really is a CBN thing. It wasn't Nigeria's data infrastructure. NIN came late. There's NIMC came late, but all of them were meant to ride on NIMC. But unfortunately, it looks like NIMC came at the end, so they had already existed. Now, what do you do? Do you throw them away?
Still holds out.
So what do you basically do? But NIMC is the official Nigerian identifier. But how everybody else now, because there's always pride in this matter. For instance, what should happen is CBN should hand over its BVN infrastructure to NIMC, and then NIN becomes the BVN.
Exactly.
Get?
There's too much overlap.
Exactly. Everybody should hand over their data to the national data infrastructure but of course, like I said, who is going to pay for the money they spend, all those things. It's always an issue. Anyways, buy, sell, hold, guys.
I guess we need an infrastructure bubble.
Yeah.
So maybe to fund that.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
exactly.
Buy, sell, hold, by the way, guys, just in case you do not know, buy means share. So you probably watch the show. Buy means you agree. Sell means you don't. Hold means you are neutral.
Yeah.
There are other categories, but we will not go into that. You will decide as you go on. So the first one is so we're just going to be talking about bubbles. First, is there is. Oh no, I'm not going to ask it that way. Is the crypto bubble? No, sorry. Is the AI bubble worth it? Buy, sell, hold.
Buy. Yeah.
You believe, yeah.
Yeah, and I believe it is. And part of it is we actually don't know how this ends up, how it plays out. Whether it's going to be some dystopian world with male dolls that are AI enabled doing all sorts of random things.
Wow.
But
this show is going very segue-ish these days.
Segue-ish.
but I just, if you look at the history of bubbles, there's always been the massive, pop and the devastation, but there's innovation that comes out of that, right? You had South Sea bubble where, the government of England was trying to effectively monetize and pay down their debts. But out of that came the sort of creation and corporatization and cleanup of joint stock companies, which became LLCs. .com bubble, obviously,
How about Tulip Mania? What came out of that one?
Man, Tulip Mania was a special one. I plead the fifth on that one. There's always exceptions to the rule. But .com bubble, which is obviously, to this day, we have dark fiber optic that's being laid into Africa, we're benefiting from. You have Amazon, eBay, Google, all these companies come out of that. The bubble in Japan, you had Sony, Toyota come out of that. Even the crypto bubble, we have the blockchain, we have stable coins. There's no question, especially with AI, which is unique because it's not really a speculative product. It's a bit more like electricity or the internet. It is going to be in everything, in a sense, everything that is connected. I'm looking at this AC and we're talking about smart devices because you're effectively now leveraging intelligence into machines. It's like we're implanting the human intelligence into what were initially inanimate objects or just objects of operational efficiency and just supercharging it. So there'll be a productivity gain and there'll be so much innovation in healthcare, in finance, etc. We just don't know exactly what shape it, comes in. We don't know who there'll be winners and losers, on this side of the world. I'd like to think that maybe as more consumers, because we don't even have electricity, so we can't be talking about data centers. So, but as
we need AI,
as people
fix the electricity problem, we can't figure it out.
We need an electricity infrastructure bubble. Like it's just the most important thing. It has to be national mandates because otherwise we're not in the conversation. When we talk about AI here,
we're not there, man.
But if we are able to build businesses that don't necessarily need to hire like 100 people, you can hire 10 people and still be able to create
like that
10 billion naira revenues or whatnot. Exactly. Exactly. That is hugely beneficial. But yeah, long story short, I'm buying the AI bubble.
Arnold.
Sorry, your question was, is there a bubble? Is there an AI bubble? No.
Is the AI bubble worth it? Buy, sell, hold.
So what do you mean by worth it?
I mean, the bubble, because we all agree it's a bubble, right? Is it worth it? Because we know it's a bubble, but it's a bubble we are still feeding. And we're not going to stop feeding it till it burns off.
So I mean, it's I guess it is worth it. With everything comes a correction, right? But even in the correction, the one that has the staying power through the correction wins. Like you talked about the com. So I think it's worth it. So buy.
What's about?
So again, I like telling stories, so I'll tell that. But I can't lie. This thing, the age of the robots, it scares the hell.
Oh really? Why?
It scares the hell out of me. And I'll give
about that milk.
So I'll give an example. I'll give a good example this week. I'll give an example this week. So I went on Gemini, and I took 2 random photographs of myself. Me looking this direction, that direction, and I said, create for me a passport photograph of me. And really, honestly, I don't, maybe we can look at this picture. It created a passport photograph of me.
There's like an old man in a computer, QWERTY keyboard. So I typed in Q, and Q came up, and then I
So this was the picture.
I'm afraid of the computer.
This was so this was the picture I uploaded.
Oh,
This picture.
Yeah. I saw that. I saw you posted it. I saw it.
This is
Yeah,
what
I saw you posted it. Yeah.
This is what it created.
That is very precise.
And then guess what?
Wow.
I said,
Actually
can
looks
I
very
have
good.
hair?
Yeah, I saw that.
Wow.
This
Okay.
from
Wow.
a random side photo of me.
I know I'm going to be doing today.
So the question is, at some
It
point,
does worry me, yeah.
photographers, I want to do a birthday shoot. Yeah, I take two random pictures of myself. Actually, you know what's so bad? So my mom again got excited, started playing with this AI thing. So we said, create Christmas. So I don't like wearing all this Christmas. I think it's ridiculous.
Clothes.
All this wear green.
Christmas spirit, yeah.
So anyways, my sister put in those pictures, a big picture of my family on my sister and my mom on Instagram, on AI, and says, make it a Christmas. So it created the whole that whole scene. And it created all those green and red.
And red.
PJ
For some reason, me particularly left me my black at
Because he already knows you don't like it.
But again, it created outfits in
So
Christmas.
why is that
Yeah.
scary?
So let me tell you what. Let me tell you why.
Is it
it's-
because you don't have control?
But it distorts reality
it
now
distorts
because
reality.
No, so let me
What's
tell you.
real?
Let me tell you
What is
what
real?
it does
it
for
looks
me.
real, but it
I
just
mean, elections will be very interesting because
So I work with a lot of AI, and what it does for me is not necessarily make my decisions for me. It just helps me do the things I want to do quicker.
But you are old school.
No,
That's
no,
the
no,
thing.
as in- no,
you
it's-
are of the millennial age.
No. What I'm saying is
the
this-
new age of people here don't even want to know. You just tell the guy they want the AI
Wow.
to create
Everything.
the idea.
yeah.
I use AI because I put in what this is my thought process. I want you to
Yeah.
start with this, lead to this.
So that's
and
not
then
worry with AI, right?
Right
so
now, the AI will create the data. People just tell me what to do here.
Yeah.
They don't even want to have an input. That's where
Yeah.
the world is
Yeah,
going.
so that's
and
my
that
worry.
is
My
scary.
worry is
I'm
that it
already
makes
in
you
the age of
lazy.
disinformation.
Yeah.
It makes
yeah.
you. So two things for me is that worry that it makes you. So there's your system 1 and system 2, right? So your system 1 is like one that actually does the
They're
thinking.
thinking
Yeah.
fast and slow, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
Exactly. So, but my worry with AI is it takes over the
The
system,
system,
2.
Yeah, but for
exactly.
someone like
And then
me,
now you just fall back.
And
You
I
don't
just
have
fall
to
back,
do
and then everything you're reacting to is
for me,
system
even the
one,
output,
system
even
two.
the output,
Yeah.
I tend
That's
to
what worry there.
question
And
the
then my other
output.
worry.
Yeah.
You won't start to regress as humans.
Yeah, I tend to
Yeah.
question the outputs, and if it's not what exactly I want, I feed it back into it and say, do it like this. My issue is not even that it's thinking for some people. My issue is that I am sharing very personal information, not necessarily family information, but like work information. So it probably knows more about my business than most people in my
Yeah.
business, even me, myself. Do you get? Because I'm asking, okay, we want to do this, give me this, I want to go do this. I'm going to have this conversation. What do you think I should talk about? Those kinds of things. And it just worries me that if for some reason it were to rise to power and become intelligence, it's
Yeah.
like, there's one 2G, he doesn't like me.
Yeah.
And then my
but
other worry is
he
the
nobody
warp
passes
of
this road.
reality that
Yeah.
you don't know what's real and what isn't real.
It's so scary because when those two things now collide, right?
Yeah.
The misinformation or disinformation
Yeah.
and like the warping of what's real or not with AI that is now super intelligent
That's taking over your system
and makes its
too.
own decisions,
Yes,
right?
yes.
Taking over system
It's
two.
taking over system two, yeah, well.
So you could give it an instruction, and this has happened already in certain
I think
tastes.
a whole new reality
and it will
has
say,
been created.
well, this instruction is wrong based on as this algorithm. I don't
Agree.
abide by this, and I'm going to do something else because I'm serving the greater principle,
Greater
right?
good. Yeah, greater
Yeah.
good.
You know,
But then, sorry, when I check this out though, right? Sticking to thinking fast and slow. Now that a new reality has been warped and it gets repeated, that becomes a reality because of cognitive ease.
Yeah.
And that's I don't know if we've gone too far.
So then-
Anyway,
but that's the AI.
anyway,
that's Terminator. When
Yeah, that's AI.
singularity of
Yeah.
that point.
One question
but
for you
that's
guys.
probably
Do you
gone.
think in 10 years' time we will be writing?
I don't think so. I, for one, I'm one of the people that I'm glad that I don't write anymore. My handwriting is terrible.
No,
My
but
handwriting
you see, I miss it. But I miss it, right? When I used to, my grandfather would write us cursive.
My
Cursive
handwriting-
letters?
My
Yeah.
handwriting is
No, we
horrible.
won't be writing because you just you instruct your AI exactly what you want and it will produce a book.
Bro, let me tell you.
Don't
Let me
worry,
tell you
right
how
Back
now.
of
bad.
this window, it will
So how
produce
do you
a book.
already
at
write
Let me
that
tell you
point.
how
Then you
bad
write
it is
less
for
already.
me.
Yes,
Let me tell you how
absolutely.
bad it is for me, right? WhatsApp messages.
No.
I don't type anymore.
No, you do
Wow.
this.
No, I just so if you open your WhatsApp, right, you click on the
Oh, yeah,
open
the
the
Meta
buttons.
Llama.
There's a microphone at the bottom. You just click it and you just speak.
Really?
I swear to God.
Are you serious? So every time you
No,
type
no,
to me,
voice notes.
21
So
seconds,
I
1
just
second, wait, wait,
speak.
wait.
Oh,
I'm
speech to text. Speech to
text.
I'm
text.
about to get very
Okay,
personal. Every time you
Okay.
type to me, you're not typing to me.
Yeah, I'm talking.
Okay, say it. Okay, at least. But very soon, people.
That actually
That's how
kinda
people
hurts.
WhatsApp.
That actually kind of hurts. Because it's not personal anymore.
No, it's personal. I'm actually talking to you.
But we
Because I can't stand people that respond to me in voice notes. Because when I
No,
when I
voice
respond,
note,
I
voice note, bro.
respond.
You said
I
voice
can't
note, bro.
understand.
so it's
I don't
converting
like
voice
voice
note
notes.
to text.
open the text.
At least.
Yeah.
No, open
that's
the,
painful, man. No.
So at the bottom,
Wow.
so
Oh, that
takes away
one.
the
Oh,
yeah, so
Yeah.
say something. So just keep
But
talking.
it's
Hey,
just
hey.
it's a whole new world.
Okay.
You've changed his life. You've changed his life.
Wow.
It's a whole new man. It's a whole new man. So I say Dylan's like an old man. If I type Q shows. Wow, I can delete. Wow, I don't need it.
Oh
I
my
don't even
God.
felt it.
The voice notes. I was looking at the voice like.
No, I don't do voice notes.
I don't even voice notes.
I feel
Man.
voice notes are just very.
It's a person, but that's what you're doing with this.
No,
now.
but I'm talking to you. I'm typing.
Wow. This hurts actually.
Fantastic.
It actually hurts.
I know.
This,
So-
this
so-
conversation lets me know that we're all going to work for AI in a few years.
So you know the problem about it is that you do it in such a way that you're like, hey, comma, next paragraph, da 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 da
It's
da.
almost
So
long
you
form,
could just
long
go
form.
to AI and say, what I want to respond to Arnold is da 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 da.
And it
send.
just-
Is it
Are you serious?
Is it predictive?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Done. It's over.
Yeah.
Let me even
No,
tell you
no,
how
no,
bad it is.
can he respond for you?
Yes. So let me even tell you how bad it is, right? So I'm wearing my earpiece.
Man, Tiju,
I'm in the
God.
gym. I'm wearing my earpiece, and you talk to me. You send me a text, a WhatsApp message. And
You don't stop working out.
I don't stop working out. It says, and I say reply, and it just says, "It's what do you want to reply?" I say, "Tell him I'm da 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 da," and it says, he reads it back to me. Should I send? I say yes, and he sends.
Wow. So, so obviously because it scales,
Wow.
right? Well,
I'm surprised that you.
very soon we'll be
I
at the
actually
point.
stopped doing what I'm doing. I think about my response.
No.
I type and then I
know.
send.
I know.
You know what will probably then
No,
happen is
actually quite
all those
hurt, man.
WhatsApp
I'm
messages,
never going to
right?
respond to any
With
message
like
from
the
you ever
20,
again.
30 people that you don't,
Now I'm gonna call
you don't
you.
really want to talk to. You just tell
I'll
it.
call you.
For this person, this is the context, the tone.
Yeah.
For this person, this is the tone. And the AI will just have conversations with those
No,
people,
no, no.
and they might
So-
not even
so
know
I actually-
because it's in the
there's-
tone
there-
of your
I actually-
personality.
there's
Which
actually-
is to a point about
there's actually a
it's-
service like
Yeah,
that.
it's taking
Yeah.
over everything. Yeah.
There's actually
As
a
in you
service like
actually-
that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's called
You're going to tell us
co-founder.
to use it now, right?
Yeah, I do.
It's actually called
Co-founder. Yeah, I'm still testing it on my other email address that I don't use much. But the idea is that you're supposed to give it access to your email. It's supposed to learn
It tells
how
you how you think, how you
how you
speak.
think, how you speak,
Yeah.
and it will respond to people how you would respond. So if
This,
you are,
this is imprisonment.
if you are,
It's, we're in the matrix, really. That's what it is.
It's
and
imprisonment.
basically it's to put into your calendar everything. So like, okay, Otumba says, and I've told him that you'll be available, but I checked. Or this is,
And for me,
Wow.
it's also the amount of jobs that we cancel. So secretaries not needed.
see why
PAs,
Mark is really betting heavy because he realizes
photographers not
Yes,
needed.
yes.
Videographers. Now you can create a movie now. So I was saying to
Sorry,
the
it's
guys,
still short, but it will get
I'll
to
say the
long
other say
form.
another day. There's a point to get to the cinemas where they'll say AI created movie
Oh, yeah.
$2.
yes. Oh, there's
Human-
There's
Yeah.
the AI albums, incredible music.
No,
and
I
I like
Yeah.
the 50
yeah.
Cent
I saw-
remixes.
Yeah.
though. I give it that. I like the
Yeah.
50 Cent remixes. I like those
To
remixes.
us-
No, Hollywood is
To
in
all the
trouble.
Gen
and
Z
the
people
creative
watching
industry.
this, yes,
No, the whole world
this
is
is
in
how
trouble.
old men talk about technology.
No, to see us actually living this thing. I feel like millennials, we've lived through very interesting things in
Yeah.
life. We've lived through that 80s.
Yeah,
And we
which
actually
was
seen-
which was
We're
harsh.
actually seeing the change. With that 2000 that they said the world was going to end.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes,
Where-
yep. Yeah.
1999.
The clocks
yeah.
will change.
Yeah,
Yep.
the world was going to go into chaos.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's.
Now we have
we
3
don't have
analysts.
time.
3 analysts. No, anyone 3 analysts. 3 analysts.
Three analysts.
Our
That's it, no
penultimate
more than that.
buy, sell, hold. So I was looking at the inflation numbers from January. We started January with 24.48, and it just kept creeping downwards from 24.48, and July was 21.88, which was it just kept inching slowly. This is the first 2% jump, 2% plus jump downwards. Do we think by December we will officially have 15% buy, sell, hold? Remember, we have October, November, and December still coming. October.
I say hold because I'm on the fence. I feel like Dirty December has become a global phenomenon. It's amazing how everywhere you go to, all people talking about
preparing,
Dirty December.
They are preparing.
Right? Which is going to cause unprecedented. I mean, right now,
I'm leaving Lagos for
Airbnb,
Prices.
Airbnb, rental for cars.
They've been done. They're
All those
out.
prices
Things
are up.
are out of control.
Yeah.
So, I don't know if that's part of the inflation basket, anyways. But
It should
the
It is.
inflation in our pockets.
Yeah.
I decided I'm not a big. I feel like that's lead up to Dirty December might potentially keep things a little bit flattish or stable.
Well, because you think
So
there's going
hold.
to be demand?
Because I think
Because
there's a
of
lot of
demand.
demand. I think there's a lot of demand.
a lot of spending. Oh, okay.
So
I saw by the way, small segue. I saw one. I was scrolling through Instagram. I saw one ad on Instagram, and then the guy goes, "Hey, I'm something fresh. Whenever I come to Lagos, I don't drive. I use something. I'm like, what the heck is happening? What is going on?
What does he use? What does he use?
No, he was advertising a car rental company.
Concierge type.
Yeah,
okay,
concierge
okay,
testing.
okay.
And I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
As Lagos become...
There's already a mushroom industry for like concierge services. They're already working, they're planning, they're getting ready for Dirty December.
like, yo,
a real
that's
thing.
crazy.
Yeah.
I'm like, I love it. I love it, though.
Yeah.
I love it. I was so jealous when I saw Ghana with the year of the return.
It's our time.
It was about time. It's
yeah.
about time.
But do we have the infrastructure?
We don't.
We'll work it out. We'll figure it out.
I think that is part
I
of the
think
vibe.
people actually just like the chaos.
Oh, we
Yes.
did
And they say
E1
that when
as
they
a
come
small
to Lagos-
microcosm. Like E1, I don't know if you guys were here for E1.
Yeah.
It seemed like it
Yeah.
worked. We went swimming. It was small,
Yeah.
obviously, but
It
it shows
worked,
that
though.
if
worked.
they want to make it work,
Yeah.
they
I
can
know
make
what
it
it
work.
was
There was
elitist.
no traffic.
Which is
There was
incredible.
no
Because
traffic.
the thing is, there's Dirty December in Enugu as well.
Yeah.
There's Dirty December in Anambra.
Yes,
so
yes.
it's not even a thing of it's E1. That's just a segment of the industry. I'm saying it's now become a national thing.
National
where
thing, yeah.
Even in the village itself.
Yeah, there's a village version. It happens
Yeah.
after
They go.
25th.
They
Yeah.
happen.
I don't know. Buy, sell, hold. Do you think we'll get to 15?
Yeah, I think we get to 50%. Man.
Uh-huh.
I think so. We're 18%. I think we'll probably see another 100 basis points reduction. Probably goes down to 17% inflation for October. I won't be surprised we get into if it ends the year with high 15s, mid 15. I think we see currency stability. I know that our NNPCO, our remittances is increasing to $600 million. So I think currency stays stable.
I think
enough.
I would argue otherwise. I think there's a risk to currency staying stable.
Why?
I think that this CGT.
You just had to. You had to.
Go ahead.
You're waiting for it. You're waiting for it.
Go ahead. Sorry, go ahead. Please switch the mic off.
I told you.
Please switch the mic
We're
off.
waiting for it.
I told you it was
In
angry about
exactly
something.
3,
So
2, 1.
go ahead.
We set a timer on this too. How long it takes Billy to mention CGT? No, please go ahead. Sorry. My bad.
No.
My bad.
I said a lot of. So let's think about it. You were saying CGT is going to kick in January 2026.
Yeah.
So what's the logical thing you would do? I would sell everything I have
In December.
right now,
Well,
and hopefully go. If I really want to pay the CGT, then hope to come and buy it, because the thing is CGT is rich.
That is a good trade.
Yeah.
You sell everything in
Sell
December,
everything
come back in Jan.
I come and buy it in January. So
No.
if I'm an international guy, I might not choose to leave my money here, and I don't want to sell in December. I'll sell in November. So basically, the demand for FX.
But how much foreign investors are in equity though?
It's
not enough. It's not enough to move the currency.
People can sell their fixed income assets now. I mean, it's the only because CGT is not only on current, it's not only on equities, it's on everything.
It's easier on fixed, isn't it?
Yeah, it's on everything.
I don't know.
It's on everything.
Okay.
It's on whatever upside you've earned.
So
on
when
the secure-
Well, Omo, yeah. So
Is your-
Omo,
I would expect so. So
that would be a real
Yeah.
sort of
I need
misstep.
to check that thing again. I'm
That'll be
sorry,
a
I should
real-
have paid more attention.
That would be
So
interesting.
you have
You
CGT.
care, right?
Nice, sat up like this, sat up like this.
Wait, what was that? You didn't care.
What CGT, the concept is around, it's on property, it's on everything. If anything, if an asset you hold goes up in value, you should get tax on it. So whether it's equities, whether it's almost everything. So I would. The theme for December is sell in Q4.
Sell.
No, but I don't think
So
so.
what
Yeah,
implication of that on the equity markets?
Yeah.
Demand for FX. So I feel like there's a risk.
Yeah,
There's a potential risk unless you do something about it.
Share. What about you? What do you think? You think 15%?
Yeah, hold on that. I think it will continue to track down, but December, that particular month, there's a number of risks to it. It's things like that, like potential portfolio outflows, putting pressure on the currency, that kind of balance out the dollars that are coming in. And then also our inflation numbers are CPI, right, versus PPI. So, the PPI, the producer price inflation numbers will always be lower, but like the point, because of dirty December, we know our people, all those prices are...
Historically, have we always had that spike because of that to December?
No.
So why do you guys think it's going to be that spike?
but
No. He's not saying just dirty December. He's saying CGT kicking in, people selling
Currency. So yours is on
pressure,
currency.
that currency. So if the currency thing does happen, yes, there will be some sort of spike in that area. But outside that, dirty December shouldn't affect it because, of course, there will be a lot of people living in the country as those coming in too. And do not forget that the people coming in are not as many as you actually think they are to the Nigeria.
That is true, but the point that you raised also about people going to the village,
Going out, so people going out also demanding FX now.
Going into
So it's the
country.
FX issue that is the context for me, but I don't think food prices will increase.
But it's funny though, FX demand hasn't been crazy though, right? Regardless of, there's been a lot of liquidity in the system, right? But for some reason...
Which is, of course, why the CBN tried to create that diaspora account thing so that you could have Naira ahead of time. No, you could have Naira in Nigeria ahead of time.
Offshore BVN.
Oh, okay.
So you don't need to bring just coming with your...
So this is why I think currency sort of stays sticky though. No?
Yeah. No, we don't know. This is uncharted territory.
Well, let's say there's
a lot of things
risk
coming
to the
together.
upside.
Yeah.
There's risk to the...
Yeah, a lot of things coming together.
I do think it
CGT.
tracks down, but I don't think 15. That's my bet.
You don't think it goes down to 15?
No, I don't think so.
We're 18. We're in 17, pretty much, right?
So if
like 200
everything
basis points
continues
more.
as it is, we definitely get to 15. We definitely get to 15. There's no... This month is another month downwards again. Definitely. I
love it. If it does.
Me, I just want to gloat. That's the whole thing. Because I remember when I said 15%, Arnold was like, no, it cannot happen. Then the numbers are never going to be released.
Arnold is the golden boy. He's called it. It's big.
The golden boy.
All right, so the final buy sell hold today is for share, and it's just Arnold and Otuba that's going to buy sell
Are
hold.
you afraid to say your thoughts?
Or what?
Buy, sell, or hold and
Share? Oh no, I'm buy.
Oh, you actually do buy sell hold on the gas. I haven't seen the episode of that one.
Especially the comments section.
Everywhere.
You tell us buy, sell, hold on share. Let us know what your thoughts are about. Me, I'm totally buy for the fact that he's let's go big, let's go home, or big or go home. Let's just go and fix everything. Leakages aside. All these people just think everybody think leakages in Tuji's house. I don't understand.
So what happens? I'll come to your business and I'll cause some leakages and you let me know how you feel about that.
No problem.
Yeah, he's a buy for me then.
All right, guys, it's been a fun show. Would you be back next week?
I don't think so.
Okay.
You miss him
The
already.
cabal meeting is still.
I don't. He's doing cabal work. I don't like cabal, especially when I'm not inside. if I join the cabal here,
We don't know that you're inside, so
I'm aspiring to be a monopoly. Anyway, so guys, first of all, do not forget, like, share, comment on the video. Do not forget also follow Nairametrics on Twitter and Instagram. I don't know about the other sites because I don't have those social media platforms, but if they are TikTok. Yeah. I'm not doing
Again, with the quote keyboard Q.
That time his profile is raised.
I'm not there. Anyways, do not forget, please comment on those also, because the group of people on Instagram, they are a bunch of crazy.
So cheap.
No, please go and defend us there. They are always mobbing. Anyway, by the way, do not forget Spotify. Drinks and Mics is now on Spotify. You asked, we made it happen. You can download now. I think the entire season 2 is on Spotify already, so you can go on Spotify and download
Apple Music next.
Apple Music, yeah, let's do that. Let's do that. All right, guys, it's been a great edition. Till same time next week. Have a profitable week. Cheers, guys.
Oh, cheers.
Stay liquid.
Yes.
Stay liquid.
50% inflation.
To the buttons.